What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for To Your Eternity. This is episode 7. And with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so pretty much looks like that we are transitioning to another character that Fushi is now interacting with. This character's name is Gugu, who we initially saw at the end of the last episode wearing this wooden chameleon mask. And pretty much the first half of this episode explains why he wears that in the first place. It pretty much details like, he used to live with his brother in a tent, and they've been trying to work and raise money to, live in a better place. However, no matter how much work Gugu ends up doing, he notices that most of the money that they ended up saving goes missing, and he notices that his older brothers interacting with the I would say suspicious looking individuals from time to time.
Yeah, it seems like his brother got himself involved in some kind of scheme, and it's like Gugu is the one that's trying to do honest work, and his brother is doing some kind of it's implied, I guess, doing something some criminal activity to get this money, because eventually his brother or Gugu notices there's some money gone one day, and then the next day he finds his brother's gone, and as well as the money. So he has no money at all, and his brother just kind of took off.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
He and his brother basically just dream of living a life of luxury, I guess, living in a fancy house with a lot of money. But that's not really how it happened. So you just really feel bad for Gugu when you learn about his backstory.
Yeah.
And not only because of that, but also because of why he's even wearing the mask in the first place.
Yeah, one day he's walking down a railroad, and then this guy is transporting logs through this railroad, and one of the logs just fall out. And fortunately, Gugu dodges that, somehow. But then all of a sudden, the same log just ends up rolling down the hill, and Gugu saves this girl that he apparently has this crush on, back in the beginning of the episode. And he manages to push her out of the way, but unfortunately he falls off the ledge where the log also rolls out, and the log just completely crushes his face.
Yeah, and you see or at least you hear in the aftermath of that a lot of people were more concerned about the girl's injuries than what happened to Gugu. So it was kind of messed up. They seem to care more about what happened with her, which she didn't, as far as I know, didn't have really bad injuries, especially now like him. So I thought that was kind of messed up. But Gugu is eventually found by this old man, and he's brought back to the old man's house, where basically we see that was how he got the mask. Was that I guess he, I'm actually surprised he survived all that too, but somehow he survived. But his face is supposedly just all messed up. We never really get a good look at what his face looks like after he got hit with the log, but apparently it's just really terrible to look at, supposedly, based on what he says. So yeah. He's just wearing this mask the whole time.
Supposedly, the old man mentions that he has a completely shattered nose, and much of his face is completely disfigured from the log that was in his face for how long that's been on there. But yeah, so he's pretty much wearing that chameleon mask for, well, I guess he mentions for 3 months now. So that's where the episode picks up from the last episode, and which Gugu finally meets Fushi for the first time. And I'm surprised that that he's not too surprised at how Fushi can transform just willy-nilly in front of him like that.
Yeah, because Fushi demonstrates all the different transformations he has.
Yeah, and of course, he interacts with with Fushi several times, teaching him several things here and there, including like and wanting to take a bath. But he also notices that much of the clothes that he supposedly wears is pretty much fused through his entire body.
Yeah, I guess because he's been wearing those for so long, it like ended up sticking to him or something.
I don't know. It's just like
I don't know.
Maybe like the clothes is like part of him when he transforms.
It could be it too.
I don't know, but yeah. So Gugu also like shows him the ropes, and he also like tells Fushi why he even wears that mask in the first place, and pretty much like Fushi learns the word ugly for the first time, and he doesn't even initially knows what it is. So Gugu tells him like I would say like just the basic definition of what ugly means is like people reject you if they see you for what you are, and I guess in a way Fushi in it to a certain extent understands that. So he ends up Fushi ends up becoming more or less of an assistant to Gugu, working at the shop, pretty much mostly selling alcohol for the old man. And then one day the same girl that Gugu ends up helping ends up going into the shop looking for some kind of medicine to help heal her wound in her arm during that incident. And of course, like Gugu, like despite his disfigurement, is still flustered, in meeting her, and pretty much is like it's determined to, still determined to go out with her despite his disfigurement.
Yeah, it seems like this is, I guess, going to turn into some kind of a running joke because it seems like the girl is more interested in Fushi than she is in Gugu.
Yeah,
and of course Gugu is jealous of this. So, yeah.
Yeah, and pretty much this encourages Fushi to, I guess, like just work out a bit more, just I guess in a way to appeal to her, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, and then of course Fushi just copies him.
Yeah, well, he doesn't really copy him. He mostly copies like the old man, just like just his.
Well, when trying to work out and all that, because
Yeah, but that's pretty much where the episode ends. Like, the episode just abruptly ends with like just credits rolling while Gugu is like working out, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it seems like we're now being introduced to a new cast of characters, like Gugu and everybody around him. I do feel like the characters that were introduced in, I guess what you would say is maybe like the last arc of the story, or if we might still be in the current arc, but characters like Hayase will probably come back to, I guess, hunt Fushi down or something. But yeah, right now it seems like it's focused on whatever's going on with Gugu and I guess the people around him. But yeah, I don't know. It's I guess that I'd say the story is going in a bit of an interesting direction. I mean, I actually do like the character of Gugu. I guess he'll probably leave an impression on Fushi similar to how March left an impression on him.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what might happen to him though, so I guess we'll have to see.
I would say like Gugu will see Fushi as more of a second brother to him after his older brother.
Yeah, it seems like it's being set up that way.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is based on what the flashback indicated. So I mean, if you remember, like March was like was determined to be the mother, and she ended up being more or less a mother to Fushi, and now I guess in this one Fushi will end up being a brother to Gugu.
Yeah, okay, that's definitely probably what I think where it's going. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty good episode. It wasn't really as action heavy, I guess, as the previous episodes have been, but it was still pretty interesting with them showing Gugu's backstory, and I mean, like it seems like he's pretty interesting character. Honestly, he kind of reminded me of this other character from the video game Nier. Emil, he has to wear a mask because I forget what happens. He gets messed up and he has to wear like a mask the whole time. So it actually kind of reminded me of that a little bit, in a weird way. but yeah, so I mean, I don't really have too much else to say about it though. I thought it was a decent episode. It was interesting to learn about Gugu and just to see I guess the developing relationship between him and Fushi. But yeah, I don't have too much else to say about it. I don't know
Yeah.
if you have anything else to say.
I'm also curious in like if when Fushi's creator is going to make an appearance again, because we
Yeah.
still have to think about him in the background somewhere, and not to mention like Fushi's creator mentions that there are other creatures like the one that tried to steal his Fushi's forms several times.
Yeah, I'm wondering if those are going to be like kind of the like a recurring sort of like an antagonist of sorts that Fushi will have to deal with throughout the series.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought this was a decent episode. Hopefully we'll see like what happens to Gugu in the next several set of episodes, whether or not like he can gain the interest of like of the girl that he ended up saving, or if something else will happen, like and like maybe his brother might end up coming back out of nowhere, and then he ends up seeing him, but the brother doesn't recognize him or something like that.
Yeah, I have a feeling with the girl he likes, it'll most likely continue with this running joke of her being interested in Fushi. Maybe like in one episode he has to like build up the courage to actually like talk to her, and then maybe something will happen there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I do feel like it'll eventually culminate in him like taking his mask off and like showing her what he really looks like or something. Because I feel like they're probably eventually going to have it to where he actually takes it off, and we see what he actually looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, I don't have too much else to say. I thought this was a good episode. I mean, one of the better ones. I mean, I am interested to see where they're going to go with this. But yeah, so that all being said, until next Monday, we will see you all next time.